Sorry.
All right. So for those that are watching the recording, we have already been talking for a few minutes, but okay. So what are the news? Tom was just sharing about the add-on for ResonantOS. This is an add-on for the website. Sorry, for the browser, and we use that browser for logging into the DAO. And so it needs to accept the wallet and so on. It's going to be open source. It's going to run on what's the name? Firefox
Yeah,
system
Firefox and Chromium. Yeah.
and Chrome. Yeah, and hopefully in next Monday we will be able to test it. Now I see there are some new people just joining the call, and what I would love you new people to turn on their camera and so show your face and let's be more human in this era of AI.
Vlad, we already met and we know your camera works. What about Lee?
Lee. You see, there is even more new people. Okay, which is good. Someone left a message there.
Not able to turn it on at this moment.
Okay, no stress, Lee. But if you'd like to introduce yourself, it's so we get to know each other and always feel better to know.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Lee. I'm from New Orleans. Um, I'm really interested in AI and what it can do, especially how it's compounding. So I kind of want to be a part of that. I'm also a futures trader, and I have a business. I do my business on the side and also trade full time. And I'm trying to find a way that I can implement AI in my trading strategies. So
All
that's
right.
pretty much me at the time.
Thank you. Out of curiosity, have you been working trading and working with blockchain technology like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and stuff like this?
Uh, no, not really. At the moment, I'm just kind of like taking a seat, taking a step back. Like a year ago, I invested in Bitcoin and XLM, XRP, and I got burnt.
Of course,
So,
1 year ago, exactly at the peak. Yes. All right. No stress.
yeah,
But it's good to know. We always need to start somewhere, and we start at the peak. Okay,
right.
so no stress. Um all right. So today's call, it's a little bit about my what I've been talking in my latest two videos, which is this local AI and running like Hermes or other agents 100% locally. And the idea here is to share our personal experiences, what you've been doing, if you ever tried to run AI locally and so on. And if you have any question that come up by watching the video, you say, okay, I have a question, and I'm gonna join the call and ask in person. So this is the space. So in this room, is there anybody that actually use local AI?
Yep. Yep, I
Yes.
do speech to text, text to speech, some inference, and then I go remote when I need to do anything heavy, which is temporary while I'm building stuff, and hopefully eventually I'll get fully local. But I'm not afraid of staying remote while I'm getting stuff built.
Thanks for sharing.
I am pretty much totally local. I run Llama servers. It's plugged into a lot of the automations in my home. CCTV, aircraft. It watches the aircraft flying over. pretty much lots of things. It would be it would be here for like half an hour explaining, but yeah, lots. I do use the home LLMs quite a lot.
That's great. Nice. I mean, it's that means you have a lot of experience in different kind of system. I never tried, for example, the one with the camera. I know that they're really good in recognizing people and faces and so on, but I never tried myself.
Yeah, LLM Vision is the one I usually use. And hang on a second, let me have a look. What I've actually got in there. Even I kind of like forget what's running. Yeah, I'm using Llama Vision as well, actually, on some of the other cameras because it doesn't like the RT. I think it's the RTP type cameras, and a lot of I've also got a lot of motion eye cameras.
Okay.
So that's why there's two different types of AI vision, because the other one doesn't like it; it doesn't detect it.
I see. Yeah, I have zero experience in the in that world. Is anyone else
Oh,
that
a
wants to
nightmare to get running.
I can imagine, especially those that turn on only when there is movement. I guess.
Yeah, I went through the whole thing of like where it would like work, and you think, oh, hang on, I've done it, I've got it working, and then you come back half an hour and it's just totally stopped working, and you spend like the next 2 weeks trying to figure out what went wrong.
Sounds like every LLM.
I missed you. What did you say you were using there?
Sorry, which one?
Which one were you using? What?
I'm using
voice systems?
LLM Vision and Llama Vision, but I've got a lot of services. So this particular one I'm talking about is mostly running through Home Assistant.
Okay.
So it goes through Home Assistant, then it goes through LLM Vision, it goes to a Llama backend.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so and then that goes back, and I've got like a couple of machines running Llama with quite a lot of RAM and a whole load of GPUs.
But I would need to see if your daughter's
Okay. And how does that work with Home Assistant? Are you having luck with that?
after hours.
It works. I finally got it working. I mean, it annoys everybody a lot of the time. Sometimes you got to be very specific with like some of the prompts and everything. Otherwise, it'll start talking, and it'll do like an essay and go into DL. You know, like especially with like the aircraft stuff, it'll literally go through every aircraft, every DL, unless you tell it only one line reports. You know
I
what
got
mean?
it. Okay. Okay. Hey, would you mind dropping some of that in the chat? I would love to explore some of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which bits? I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much. I mean, if you see my Home Assistant, you'll be like, "What the heck's going on there?"
Okay. Okay.
Well, might actually
Oh,
catch
I'll
you
give you a bit of a
for
sample.
a meeting. I wouldn't mind picking your brain about some of that stuff as well, actually. So we might set up a meeting about that subject specifically.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'm looking at some of that as well.
And I'm interested in that as well.
Okay. Well, let's make a little gang and talk about it.
Yeah, and I also have a person that would love to join that meeting. So yeah, please go
Okay.
ahead.
That's gonna be
I'll set up a Discord channel specifically for the conversation.
yeah. That's gonna be a very select group. I don't think my wife wants to come to that meeting. So,
Okay, I'm up
oh
for
boy.
it.
Okay.
Thank you. That sounds cool. Hi, Carlos. So, what are you eating today?
Hi guys. Been traveling. Like I said, was abroad. Now back home. Getting back to the rhythm.
Good to have you here. So we are talking for you, Carlos, that just joined. We are talking today about local AI and what is possible to do if you're using it. What are your experience? If you're interested in having your local AI and so on. If you ever tested in any way. So we had a few people sharing their story, and anyone else wants to say something? Also, why you're not using it? It's also good. It's a good it's a good things to share. The why
What
not
was
is deep.
what was the question again?
If you're using local AI or not. For example, from my understanding, you've been using Hermes and Open Flow. Are you running with subscriptions, or you're using your local AI?
I have I'm setting up another one now with Llama using local AI because I wanted to keep the inferencing and all that stuff kind of our brain think and context and communication with AI local. And then I'll probably have the gateway set up to do the when I need to do some coding or something like that. In addition, if I need to tier out to using the API calls.
Very good. How do you do your routing when you need to tier out? Are you just manually telling it to switch to cloud router?
Yeah, at the moment.
Okay. And what are you running local?
The Llama, it's the I think it's a 3.2 or whatever.
Okay. A Quinn?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, the bigger the better if you can.
I'll try that next. I've probably uninstalled, installed, uninstalled, installed, tried this, tried that, figured out something else, did a clean install. I've been doing it in Docker under Linux, but so it just makes it easier to kind of do a clean install. And then when I get to a certain point that it's where I want it, then I'll have it create like an installer, or at least a whole script for it or something.
Yeah. Very good. Have you used any like private cloud? Have you got like your own host and push some of those up and had like your mid-tier sort of thing? Or are you just going local straight to commercial cloud?
Yeah, it would be local to commercial cloud. I do have a Synology, but it's not powerful enough to kind of run all that stuff. But eventually, I mean, Apple's, with the new CEO or whatever, it's going to be interesting to see where Apple goes with it because they're kind of primed for that really nicely. And I had an old Intel laptop, probably like 2019 or whatever, which it lasted a long time. But I was like, okay, OpenClaw, okay, I got to jump on the bandwagon. And that it's like, okay, you'll be fine. That was like 4 months ago or whatever. And it's like, I think I bought it 3 months ago, and it was like expected for a Mac Mini. It was like at the end of July. I was like, what the F? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. And so I bought a laptop, an M5 laptop, to kind of hold me over for now.
Yeah, the Best Buy here, I've gone in like 3 times and they're always like, there's no Mac Minis, there's no Mac Studios, they're just not here. Everyone bought them up.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You have a couple of people that sorry, cats and dogs. I was at the Replay conference in San Fran. I live in San Fran, and that's a temporal, and they have some really cool tools. But I met some really interesting people there, and a couple of them were doing hardware plays, like local LLMs for legal or medical offices and things like that. And they're like, yeah, I have about 30 Mac Minis. They're able, like, they're holding on to them because that's how they're going to use it to kind of build out, their use cases and stuff. And there was no other way to do it. They had to buy a bunch of them.
Well, they are so small and nice. I think one of my pictures in the chat, the little Mac Mini. I mean, you see the size of these things. You can also put them on Raspberry Pis. You can put them on other small, machines. You can't do your, main inference on them, but you can have them as controlling machines. But if you string,
like satellites.
yeah, and then when you string them together, I think, what is the name of the port on the back? They've got their own special little port. You can just string those things together, like 4 or 5 of them. For a business, if you're deploying, that's an easy, distribution.
The Ethernet port, you mean?
I think it's called Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Oh, Thunderbolt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's USB-C, I believe, the connector, but it's Thunderbolt. Yeah.
Yeah, Thunderbolt. Okay. Very good. Thanks for sharing.
You. I'm just excited to be on the call, and I just found out about it. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how the algorithm found me to find you, or at least ResonantOS. But it was just perfect timing once again, and I'm just so glad I found this community. So I'm happy to participate and
your YouTube was resonating with our YouTube.
That's the one thing I think is actually very good about this this ResonantOS project. It's bringing a lot of people together, and then we're finding that a lot of us were all kind of finding our own way to try and do this, and this is all kind of like brought us all together.
Yeah, I agree, and it's just we all have those. I'm sure we all have those moments where it's like an epiphany there. I'm having way more epiphanies now since 3.0 of ChatGPT, but it's pretty amazing how quickly this stuff is changing. So I think there is definitely some urgency on how we pull people together.
The ball is most definitely rolling.
Yeah, exactly. But I definitely think there's room to expand and grow, and as a societal kind of evolutionary step for human civilization, this is that kind of point. It'll be the catalyst to hopefully we'll survive past this point.
Well, and that's kind of a really good point, right? We're here trying to figure out these things together. A lot of us, because we're finding out how powerful these tools are. It's augmenting our intelligence. It's making us able to discover things and build things that, I mean, frankly, I wouldn't be able to do. I just can't do this level of productivity. And we're all running into some of the same walls, and we're solving some of the same problems in the same way or slightly different ways. But having a group like this to bounce things off of is wonderful, because when I saw Manelo's first video, it was like a winter out there. I'm like, hey, who's doing this stuff? And I'm like searching YouTube for like, how do you do a local model? How do you, make OpenClaw work right? And so you see Manolo, he's like, hey, I'm trying to fix this thing. Right. And then, 3 months later, we're here and we're all trying to get it right. And some of us are making progress. I'm learning a lot by just talking to you guys. So I really appreciate the conversation.
We are finding our way through this maze.
Yeah. And Manolo, thank you again for, being up front and, taking the lead on this and, just basically actioning this, like getting out there and doing something. Because a lot of us, have those ideas, but sometimes it's like, okay, I'll do it later, or maybe it's not the right time, or maybe it's not even a good idea. But you going out there and doing that, and your manifesto, it hit the home right away.
Thank you for this, and trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy for me because I'm not used to stay in front of the camera. I had experience behind the camera as a photographer, video maker, and so on. I come from the creative industry, so I had that kind of more, stay in the background and create from the background. Even though I had a band, I used to play on the stage, so a little bit of experience there. But in somehow, it's I never thought in my life to be, a YouTuber, stay there, and but I thought this is needed. This is needed because now is the moment, and I don't want to be there alone exploring AI. I want to do it with other people.
Yeah, and I think the DAO was a great introduction, or at least an augment from whatever you saw and when you created the manifesto, or how that ever came to be. Definitely bringing a DAO into it, because that's where I was at as well. Is you need some of this, especially as things become more automated and AIs are going to be talking to each other. You need to have a DAO with with that understanding and some legal possibilities as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad that you said this because I'm always worried about this now because a lot of people are not aware. So part of the community are learning now about this working with blockchain, the meaning of decentralization, the decentralized organization, and so on. So there is there's a lot to learn, and I'm glad there is some people that understand the importance and the direction and why we need to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna come down to that, and multiple DAOs to kind of be able to pull resources together and brain think, and I think that's going to be how a lot of things might come together when you trying to pull resources and people together, outside of like NGOs and things like that, right?
Well, and the framework that Manolo has put together here is perfect for this. And I don't want to give him a big hit, but really having having a framework where we can actually do this, and not just in theory but in practice. So like today,
Yeah.
we were all like, hey, a bunch of nerds, we want to get together and talk about how to make our computers talk with HomeKit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and form a tribe with a DAO, right? In the DAO coin, let's form a tribe, and let's put all of our coins together, and so we can track what we're doing and build a project together. And just participating in it, like Manolo has built in the framework, participation counts. Like, here talking to me, you're helping me just by being here, giving me tips and just encouragement, and also just seeing what you're doing. So participation counts. So you get tokens for that. You get tokens for your technical involvement. You get tokens for your governance involvement. You get tokens for your financial involvement. And that became, when I started really rereading the framework, the types of tokens and the contribution, and the fact that it's in a blockchain, so we can't be scammed. Using the blockchain for what it's really intended to be, which is a public registry. And if you use it correctly, I mean, it is a perfect framework to let us, have this, marketplace resource where we can share intellectual resources, computing resources, financial services, business services, whatever we're doing, we can do it through the DAO. And so I'm just very encouraged about that framework. That's probably the most exciting thing to me, because the technology is going to keep changing. Like, OpenClaw, came and went like a wave, and now we're just like, some of us are kind of migrating away, some of us are using it, some of us are far from it. 6 months from now, I don't know what the agentic frameworks will look, but the DAO will be in place, right? And I think in practice, if we're starting to use it, it just helps us move forward. Sorry, that was a long rant.
Thank you, Tom. It's actually it's really cool to have so many people talking, so I don't need to do all the talking. But I want to share the. So we have a white paper for the DAO, and if you go on ResonantDAO.com, I'm gonna share the link. The website is still kind of under construction, but we work on the open, so it's live. Where is Zoom? So here there is actually, let me share the screen. Let's do the things properly. So I go here. So anyway, while I'm finding the page on the website, if you go on that website and there is white paper. Okay, I got it. So here, this is the website, and it's at the moment it's under construction, but there is a few things already there. This website is the onboarding to the DAO. So you will have your wallet, and then sign up the manifesto, the community. You become a community member. Sign up the symbiotic license. Makes you the co-owner of ResonantOS, and then you get these. Those are all NFTs, okay, non-transferable NFTs. And then you get the first 1,000 people to subscribe. They're gonna get the Resonant Pioneer NFT. And the register thing, so don't use it now. I'm gonna tell you when it's gonna be open, because the smart contract is not finished. But if you go on the white paper here, there is everything. Okay, everything is explained. And if you have a chance to read it and give me feedback, because this is the first draft, But you can learn what's the direction, what we're doing, what we're building, how is the system works, what kind of community we're building, and so on. So everything is on here. The token that we're going to use, the different token for the different reputation that we have, and everything is basically explained in here. So have a look when you have a chance and provide some feedbacks. And we can use the Discord Resonant DAO for talking about this.
And Manolo, what helped me, I had my AI absorb everything you've ever written and then summarize it in 3 sentences.
Say that yet.
Which is good, but it's also lazy, Tom.
I know. I'm joking. I'm completely joking. It was a very thorough study. It took me like an hour to read what it wrote. So,
all right, better. No, I'm saying this, and sometimes a summary is really good, okay? And it's okay to summarize and understanding that part. But because there's so much information, so much learning to do, that reading it through make a lot of sense. Okay, if you never heard about what is a DAO, how it works, what are the tokens, and so on, so by reading it, you assimilate. Of course, allow your AI to assimilate it as well, but read it. Okay. So just check in the chat as well. All right. So regarding the local AI, which is the theme of today, like I mean, you saw that I have this Asus GX10. Okay, pretty powerful, pretty good. And those, what's the name? The Quen 3.6, 35 billion. It just ran so well on this machine. But it's at the moment, even just in idle, it's 52 gigabyte of RAM, almost 53 gigabyte of RAM, which is a lot. Okay, so it's not, unless you have this kind of machine, it's impossible to run it. I just realized that I want to.
It sounds like you're running it at FP16 if it's taking up that much space. Like the full.
I mean, when you load it, it's smaller, but when you start working with it, then there is the context window and so on, and you go into that kind of number.
Well, you said what, Quen 3.6, like 35p?
35 billion, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I could run that on my computer, and I get it like at 20 gigabytes of RAM, and I have a 32 gigabyte Mac, but I'm running it at Quant 4. So you could run these models at Quant 4 or Quant 2 and still get pretty good tool calling.
But
Quant 8 usually.
What the context window size that you have set it up?
Not full, probably like 50K or 100K. But I'm just saying that the quantization of the model makes a big difference. If you go from float point 16 to Quant 8, most of the time you're gonna get like no difference in performance for most things. And then 4 is like usable for most people, but that fits on a lot of different hardware. You can get it down to like 16 gigs or 20 gigs.
Yeah, and you don't lose a lot with the Quant if you just drop maybe 1 or 2 tiers down.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we like to think. Okay, so we lose, but it's still acceptable. But we are already 35 billion compared to the frontier model that is in the trillion. So we already have lost a lot. Now we start.
I mean, think about it like music, though. Like if you were going from lossless to MP3, depending on the hardware you have, like it depends. So the models kind of work in a similar fashion where there's like an acceptable amount of loss, because if you're doing just coding, it doesn't matter if it loses the parts that's maybe about medical or about, specific things. And they do have specific quants that are focused on like tasks, like certain tasks.
Yeah, task oriented. If your agentic framework is broken up so that you're categorizing the activity of the agent, like you said, coding task, and they're guardrailed very nicely, like with what Manolo has built, right? You know, the logician guardrails. If you've got a fairly weaker agent, but you've got him guardrailed, you know, he's just as good as a bigger agent for doing like a simple
Yeah.
task, like go write this file and then come back and verify it. Like 2 levels of reasoning can do that. So, you know, it's kind of like you said, it's a massaging of the, you know, the use case for that specific model. And your hardware, you know, is going to drive all of that as far as like context size. And that's why things like, you know, when I was listening to the thing about anybody looked at Mistral, the latest release, it kind of flat release. You know, it wasn't a lot of news about it, but I think the context window was like 200K, and then it ran like much faster at some of the quant levels. Has anybody looked at that? I mean, you know, it's things like that you can consider and test, and I think that's what we can gain from this forum. You know, what have you tested and what's working?
Yeah, exactly. That is the good thing with the community. Okay, each one of us has a different experience, a different hardware, and we can test the model and maybe even fine tuning for specific task. So for my experience, so because I have this amount of RAM, so I run it in the way that it makes sense for my architecture. And for my architecture at the moment, I have this only one model load up at the time, at the moment, which is the 35 billion from Qwen 3.6. And I can run 2 of them simultaneously, both of them at 200,000 context window, which is pretty big. Okay, so somehow in this scenario, and they work around 60, 70 token per second. So in this scenario, it's kind of perfect because I have, for example, Hermes always available, always with me, and then I have another agent that can be a sub agent of Hermes, can be someone that he works on the what's the name? Sorry, I just opened this one to open code. So an agent that is here, open code, working and doing the code, and Hermes is it's over here doing the Hermes stuff.
Yeah, and Manolo, that's what I'm finding too. And I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, sir, because it's I'm listening when I'm driving here. But the guy that was talking
Me?
about HomeKit, you were talking about the HomeKit. But and Sam and some of these other guys, you're learning that you need a good, fast, always on responsive agent for some things. Like if you're going to do voice or video, or, you know, have it monitoring your home, or have some kind of service running, you know, you need to have an agent that's kind of dedicated to that, you know, that can be spawned as a sub agent, and he's working within a framework, and here's his computer that he's going to do inference on and do his work on. So it's kind of like just spreading the load out, a little bit of parallelism.
We lost
Yeah,
you,
but I mean
Tom.
that's I'm not Tom, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, I feel like it's all about like having parallel workflows, or doing what is it called, like a queue backed, like using like Redis queue. I built a system where all the requests are queued. So if you do like 1 or 2 or 3 different tasks in different chats, they just sequence, and then they'll take care of it like one after another. So you'll get one, yeah.
Yeah, and those task planning engines, like Manolo has a really nice version that he's built into ResonantOS, which is that's one aspect of this, right? It's you know, long running tasks. So when I go to bed, I'm like, hey, what's in the queue? And then when I wake up, I'm hoping that they went through all 6 of it. Maybe they ran into blockers, and I'm glad when they run into blockers and stop and don't break my machine. But it's nice when you wake up and they finish the task, which, you know, maybe it was, hey, go into this site and add a new page and then test it thoroughly and then report back. And it comes back in the morning and it's done. And I'm doing that using, you know, I'm using Tandem, and I'm also using kind of a hodgepodge of things that I've made. But the one that Manolo made is very nice, and it's got a great visual. Manolo, I don't know how far you've gotten on that or how complete it is, but that is a really important piece because everybody needs that. You know, the ability to queue up things, you know, whether it's coding task or you know, artistic work, or, you know, whatever, literary work, whatever you're doing, just the ability to queue things up.
Greg, well, go ahead. I see Greg with the hands up.
Yeah, sorry, I just dropped a question or a request into chat. Can you click on the browser there? I just want to capture a screenshot so I can show my agent what it should look like? Because it's not looking like.
Are you talking about the browser here, this one?
Yes, yeah, that I just want to take a quick screenshot because that's not how it shows up on Linux. So,
Okay.
thank
But
you.
have in mind that the Tom has already built a new version of this browser, and it's gonna run. This one is on Chromium, but is the one that is building is gonna work on Firefox.
Yes, and Manolo, I don't know if you have that screenshot. I can look for it, but if you'll send that to, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna find it and share in the screen in the.
Yeah, and this has more to do with the way that the browser is encapsulated in the
Yes.
ROS harness. That's where
Yeah.
the bug is. So I just want to
Okay.
show my agent what it should look like because that's again not what it looks like in Linux. So
Okay, and that's the thing we're specifically addressing. We've got another engine, the Firefox engine, and I'm framing it in, and I'm just doing event drop throughs, and I've got the engines running side by side, whether or not it stays like that or not. But anyway, there's a screenshot I'm still trying to find, but it'll show you essentially the same thing, and it's just a toggle button.
okay, yeah, and is that Firefox one the one that I sent Manolo a link to?
I'm not sure. I just use the Firefox engine because it works natively with Phantom Wallet, so I didn't have to do a plugin crossover.
Okay, yeah, no, there's in the Discord a couple weeks ago, I had sent Manolo a link to one that's a browser that's based on Firefox, but is agent aware at the core level so that it bypasses all
That's-
things looking for bots and stuff. So
was that Camo
you might want
Fox?
to look at
Because
that.
if it was Camo Fox, yeah, that's what I used. If that was what you sent, so I used the Camo Fox framework for that.
Okay, I'll have to look and see exactly what it was.
To my memory is the same one, but I might be wrong. But I think it's the same one.
Yeah, it was Camo Fox. That's the one. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that was a great find. Thank you very much. That was a great find.
Yep.
Quick, I met the main CI guy over there at Mozilla over the last week. So super nice dude. So if you have any questions, I could probably, that maybe it's something that's not, in a bug list or something like that, or if there's a certain feature you're looking for, I could probably ask him.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's always good to have somebody deep in that because it's changing and there's some new things. I don't know if you guys realize, but the internet is different. People are writing basically two versions of their web pages now. There's one agentic side and then there's one human side, and the agentic.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like an MCP or something to the website, or how does that work?
No, like metadata.
Yeah.
Just metadata. So it still scrapes it and looks at it, but it just answers certain questions for her. Okay.
And it's a much more efficient scraper, and also it points them to any type of exchange token abilities. And everybody's rolling out agentic exchange mechanisms. Cloudflare. I forget who did one the other day, but the bigger companies are trying to roll out their own exchange frameworks. And Manolo, maybe you could tell me your thoughts on it. How do we play when everyone's got their token exchange protocols?
Can you give me a little bit more information on that as well?
Tom, can you repeat the question because I'm not sure I got it.
So every website, they've got the human side and then they've got the agentic side, and the agentic side is just formatted so the agents can scrape the page. And Cloudflare has like registry now of like 30 or 40% of the internet. Just here's all the agent sites, and so when you go to look for an agent site, the agents go there, and then it also has all the information about how an agent can connect through. If this site is using Cloudflare's payment token framework or one of the others, because there's a few people that are using the base was it agent, what is the name of the exchange protocol, agent something protocol, the one that Google came out with.
Yeah, agent to agent something. I don't remember.
A2A, or what basically they all calling it A2A, agent to agent. So whatever protocols they're using, and that's going to keep changing. I'm not even sure, like when the internet started, it was a protocol nightmare, and it was like, who's going to win in the protocol battle? And I think it's going to be the same with these agentic commerce frameworks. So I'd love to have your thoughts on it.
So my thinking here is, for example, the Google one is pushing the utilization of tokens, okay, so cryptocurrency, and therefore even Coinbase, which is the biggest exchange in US for cryptocurrency, is participating in the format because they want to push that system, the narrative, the exchange. So they are trying to push the narrative of allowing agents to exchange financial through the blockchain. And then there is, of course, the banks that wants to do the other way, to use, the traditional system of banking system to pay. So I think I watched a video the other day, or if not today, about Stripe that is pushing to a different kind of protocol. At the end, it doesn't matter in the sense to Hermes is a skill. You give the skill to use those two different protocols. They're going to be using both. For us, because we are building with the DAO and we are building internationally, and we build also for people that don't have bank accounts, it makes sense for us to use something that is open, which is decentralized. We use our own tokens, and it's cheaper. We don't feed the banks. We don't feed, the corporations and so on. So for us, it makes more sense to use the agent-to-agent open source protocol that Google is building.
Yeah, and now, I've studied and studied, and now it's starting to make sense to me a little bit. The way that we can exchange tokens, because what are you exchanging a token for? You're exchanging it for a product, a service, right? Some knowledge product, some effort from somebody or a resource. And now, if I exchange a DAO token, I mean, that really means something, because there are some very talented people here on this call. And if I said, hey, can you help me? Like Michelle, if I need some graphics work, I'm like, hey, can you help me for an hour? Right? I can exchange some tokens with him, and he can turn it into Bitcoin. Once we have that liquidity pool infused with our token, then you've monetized our token, and that's a future state. We haven't monetized our token, but the mechanism is in place, and that's really the key, is having that in place. And the browser specifically plays to that. The Chromium browser, I left it there because if you leave the Chromium browser, it plays well with everything that's, it talks to the agentic side of the website. But if you use the Firefox version that I have, you can get through, Phantom, and you can get through basically anything, right? It's more of a private obfuscated browser. So we've got an obfuscated browser and a non-obfuscated browser. And that's why we're not demoing today, because I was on the fence on whether to leave it in there. And I posted it in the chat. You can see the engine in there, but it's just an engine. But thanks for the clarification, because that really makes sense. We just, if we're going to engage in commerce, and I saw it, like you said, it was Stripe. I knew it was another big one, but they're all trying to latch in. And it seems to me like they're trying to pull you into almost like an ecosystem lock. I don't know if that's, that's real or not, or it's okay to have, Cloudflare's wallet and have, Stripe's wallet. I'm not even sure what you end up with in that state.
Because I mean, the Stripe make money by getting a commission. Okay, and that is how they make money. So they want to hold on that kind of a business model. Of course, you can create a system of building commissions over the blockchain, but people just fork it and use it without, it's just you don't need to pay commission. I just do peer to peer. I pay you. That's it. There is no a need of someone in the middle to that it takes money from me and money from you just to offer a service that should be free. Anyway, so Michael.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, I think I had a little bit more on the agent stuff in the browser, or the agentic stuff, and then the whole thing with Stripe and that stuff. I think these are all trust plays as well, because that's one of the hardest things is for anything, especially as the AI videos and all this stuff, is trust. So Stripe is one of the biggest ones, and that's why I think part of that is a trust thing since they're so big. But that's just for, is it identity or is it just financial transactions? Because the other side is going to be like identity and transactions for attention and information exchange, like when it comes to our marketing data and things like that in a browser.
And the identity is critical because identifying yourself on the internet, like you and I, want to exchange stuff. I need to make sure it's me and you, Michael, right? Like,
Yeah.
And if you're going to do business with me and you're going to let me use your fantastic agent that you built, well, I want to make sure it's your agent and I'm not getting hacked by somebody that's intercepting. So that identification, handshake, blockchain contract. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also a big issue because for websites, what they have to face now, anything, if you're trying to bring up a website or somebody who creates and puts up a website, is just the rate at agent scraping or requests is just, it's some type of exponential growth, I'm sure. And it's not the most efficient way to do things. So I guess that's more when agent stuff happens and we're not even interfacing with a website.
Yeah. Well, when I was working with this browser, I was fortunate because I was building an app at the same time that needed to get through Spectrum Wireless's serviceability check. And so I was having to fight with that back and forth. And you would not believe the level of blocking. It's like, here's a Kami, here's Cloudflare, here's Digital Dome. And you're just like, bam. You got to deal with all these things. And so I had to go down to like ACNAC level to figure out how to work around some of this stuff. And it's going to keep changing, right? Like, even if I get it right, our browsers could break because somebody rolls a new, something into one of their sites, and when I hit their site, it's like, no, you're not compliant. Get out of here. So
the requesters are so much. It's taking down websites as well as messing up website metrics as well, because it's not a person coming to one thing. It's like if you were scanning one thing as a person, a human, you can only do that so quickly. Now you can send your agent to go do this, and it hits 40 or 50 sites when normally you just hit one site. So that exponential growth in traffic, and then also how to keep a website performing well when it comes to like big websites and things like that, that's going to be a problem.
Well, and CAPTCHA is also a problem. Ran right into the CAPTCHA wall, and they're going to force us to go to CAPTCHA 3 because essentially CAPTCHA 3 is like they're just going to block you based on your IP and some evaluation of how you're coming to them, because they know that the agentic frameworks like what we have, my agent can just sit here and break your CAPTCHA. Okay, my agent can break your CAPTCHA, and so they're going to be forced to go to CAPTCHA 3, and so it's going to be a bot war. And they're just going to lock some people out. You're going to have to fight your way in. It's an interesting framework right now. I'd love to talk more. I don't want to sit here and talk about browsers all day, but
it'll be a psychological evaluation
at least
to prove that you're not an agent.
Yeah,
that'll be the new CAPTCHA.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm telling you, the CAPTCHA is nuts, and it was a dogfight to break it. And I was like, wow. And I started reading about CAPTCHA 3, and I'm like, this is exactly where they're going to go. And they basically have already given up. I mean, if you're going to basically start blocking based on behavioral and, IP stuff, well, actually, they're going away from behavioral. They're like, we're not even going to ask you to do the click stuff anymore. We're just going to say, they're in a bad gray zone over there. I'm blocking that whole range of IPs. And unless you, biometric in, or unless you server authenticate in, like some pre-authenticate call. You can't even get in the gate, digital gates. That's essentially what they're creating.
Reminds me of Cyberpunk for some reason, and the Great Firewall.
Yeah, it's that. There's digital aspects of the world and the ability to exchange commerce and interact. And it's gonna keep changing. I don't know what it's gonna look like. It's fascinating to me, but it's also a technical challenge. Like, I should not have had that much trouble getting a browser to work. I've embedded browsers in mobile devices before. It should not have been that hard, but now I'm just getting another level of resistance and friction from the bots everywhere.
Can I give my point of view on this? And this is just a thought, okay? Something to reflect on. So if you see a system that creates friction on you because it doesn't trust you, basically it's not aligned with you. There's a disalignment between what the system wants and what you want. Okay, so the design itself is badly designed, because why we are not aligned is the problem, right? So how we can design something that we actually aligned and we want the same thing. So they want our data, they want our, they want to stay safe, whatever it is, okay? It's different from what we want. Okay, what I want, I don't want a problem. Okay, first of all, I don't want a capture. I don't want you taking my data. I don't want those cookies. I don't want anything of those things. And I want to access with privacy your service. That's what I want. Now, they want the opposite because they want to get all our data and so on and decide if we can use the system or not for whatever reason. Now, this is disalignment. What we can do with the DAO is create a system where we are aligned instead of fighting this problem. The alignment, it's easy to understand when we talk about token, right? So if you see the Bitcoin, we every Bitcoin holder, what they want is the price of Bitcoin to go up. We are all aligned. Okay, there's millions of people with this holding this token, and they all want the same thing. Okay, so the alignment is possible if you put incentive in the right places. So what we need to do when we design our system, our DAO, our way of working, our website, everything, we need to think about those alignments. Because if we do, we remove friction. And the bigger problem here is honesty, okay? In the sense, people using the system in the wrong way. They trying to take advantage of the system. And what those corporations, a lot of companies are doing, they try to use force, basically enforcing their rules in the system by creating friction. And this is all the things that we've been talking now. But if instead you design things properly, you don't need to create friction. You need to create the incentive for that kind of honesty. And this is what we're trying to do with the membership within the Resonant OS. Okay, the membership, it doesn't sound like it's not something that you need to pay, but it's the way that you register within the Resonant OS. So you register as a human, and then you can register your AI as an AI. And must be an incentive for pushing that honesty. It's not just be honest, because be honest is not going to work. What is going to be working is I give you an incentive, a financial incentive of being honest. Okay, in the sense, your human account won't be able to do or earn what your AI account can do, and vice versa. So if you have an AI, you want to register as an AI. Okay, and if you're human, you want to register as a human, and you don't want to do the opposite because you're going to lose money in doing so. You're not going to leverage the best out of their account. So that is I'm simplifying, but this is how we should build the DAO, where there's an incentive, and most of the time is a financial incentive that should push us to stay aligned and honest, instead of having those systems that just create problems. Anyway, that was my thought that I wanted to share.
I completely agree with it.
Momir, I see your hands is up.
Yeah, here I am. I'm just okay. I maybe I will be going maybe too deep, but the question of misuse is actually the thing why they push and approve or argument their restrictions, because people do use for their own cause, because and uh, uh, this is where the things get complicated. So it's really, I don't know how we can keep this kind of honesty just by its own, and can we count on it to not being those who then push some restrictions and in this way avoid that somebody will misuse. one question, and the other question that pops up is how we are gonna identify that one is a human, because we do have and already I saw just film today where I couldn't believe that the AI is so can act so good. Some guy who is answering to a job and it's actually a bot, and then he has to put three fingers across the face. So this is something that he can generate not so easy, you know. So how we are gonna know that somebody is human? I'm not sure that we can act on long term that this some bot shows up with the camera and tell us something nice.
I think you're right. Maybe we're approaching it from the wrong angle, is what I'm thinking.
I mean, I think it depends on like how you handle it in each community. Something that I'm like developing is making every account have a cryptographic hash and identity. And if you're going to post and use things and interact, then you would just, and want like authorization, like credibility, you would include that. People could see that little identifier. But I mean, that means that there would have to be like a centralized registry that people agree to for that identification. Kind of like how Google has OAuth, but you could do it like at a community scale. So people join the community and you give them one of these things so they, and then people could post without it, but you wouldn't be able to verify if it's, you could immediately downrank it and just like not weigh it as heavily or not show it to people as much, if you're using an algorithm for like search and stuff. I don't know, because we're talking about like social. It sounds like we're getting into like community-based things where maybe you'll have a place that people can interact with each other and with like their bots. But you'd want to know if it's like representing an actual person or not, or if anybody's like, you know what I mean?
So let me explain a little bit how at the moment is being the Resonant DAO designed, and I want to also explain what I learned through over 10 years with working in the blockchain community. So first, the identification, is this a human or is an AI, is not on-off. Okay, it must be something that is ongoing. There is a system that we need to build that keep monitoring, keep testing the account to be sure that actually the account is a human or an AI. So we can't think a solution that is just and now it's human and I'm 100% sure. We shouldn't work in that terms. We need to understand that there is always a risk that is not honest. The risk is there, so we need to build in that way. By keep testing it, for example, now we are present here, now we see our faces, we see that we are real, now we can give a score of say, I trust this account, this amount, because I saw this, and this. I have a series of evidence. Okay, that score of how much I trust that account as a human, for example, is going to change over time and adapt. The more you interact, for example, with specific task that only human can do, then the more you're gonna say, okay, there is a human. It's more likely there is a human than an AI behind. Does it make sense?
I understand
So
where you're
not an
coming
on-off.
from, but if you're posting, let's say if we're all sharing an experience on a website or someplace where we're all posting like a forum or a chat group, there's going to be places where like Reddit where people post anonymously. So you can't stop that kind of thing from happening unless in whatever page that you're interacting on, you just say nobody can interact unless they don't have an account. Unless they have an account. So you're going to force them to have that identification. But then that takes away anonymity. And I think that that's part of what makes the internet exciting and wonderful, is to be able to say things and not have consequence. And then if you want things to have authority, you put your name on it and you sign it. You say, hey, I said that. So if somebody doesn't attach their account to a post, then there's no way for anybody to know who said it. That's the point. And then when somebody puts their ID with a post and you say, all of these things that are a link to you, I know this is your activity and I could, and then you build your score off of that. I don't know if anybody wants to live in a world where they can't post anonymously sometimes, you know?
Yeah. So within the DAO, you have a wallet. Okay. I don't
Okay.
need to know the name, your name, your surname, where you live. I don't need any of this data. All I need to know that this is you. Is that wallet? It's like an email. I don't know who's behind that email. There's an email though, and that is how you log in into the DAO. Okay, and that
Okay.
is anonymous because I have no idea who's behind that email. Okay, all I know there is this specific wallet. Okay, that's it. And what I'm testing is the wallet. I don't care the name. I don't care
Oh,
where you're coming from. You see what I mean? So that
yeah,
part is
it's just for transactions.
yeah, it's completely disconnected. You are a number, basically. You are that
All
number,
right.
and how then? What is that number is doing within the community? How likely is that number is an AI or is a human? Okay, that's all I'm measuring, and I don't want to know who you are. Okay, it's part
Okay,
of
so then it's everybody who goes and joins the DAO or anybody who's in has to have an identification.
yeah, they're gonna have this number, but the thing
Okay.
here is that some people will share this number and make it available in the sense, look, there is me behind that wallet, okay, and it's fine. You, if you don't want it, you don't need to, okay, and nobody can tell you if you can join or not join the DAO. Okay, nobody, you are completely free to do it. So there is that freedom. Uh, and like I said, the evidence of being an AI or a human will be tested over time constantly. It's not a non-off. Okay, it's how much I trust that wallet, that number, to be a human or an AI. Now, to the first question of Momir, how do we somehow enforce the system, or how can we create trust without enforcing the system? So I tell you this experience that I had with the previous DAO. These are kind of worldwide DAOs. Okay, so what is happening? There was we as a Westerner, we have this idea of, okay, we create a law. We say, okay, you must, for example, not sell your vote. So when you vote for the DAO, you can say, you can, for example, sell your vote. Okay, so if you give me $100, I'm gonna vote for you. Does it make sense? Okay. In the Western country, we think, no, we make this illegal. So we create something on the website and we say, this is not legal to do. But then nobody stops you to do it. Okay. You can't enforce it just because you wrote it down. Okay. And what is happening instead with what we learn from the Chinese is that they said, okay, this is not enforceable, therefore we need to leverage on it. Okay, we create a market where you can buy and sell votes. You see the idea, which is in somehow crazy, but the thing here become clear. First of all, if you can't find a way to, through a smart contract, to enforce something, it's useless to make a law because you will create a black market for it, and therefore you won't control it. You think you're doing the right thing, but you're not. Instead, if it's not enforceable, means everybody can do whatever is possible. And the idea of buying and selling vote, you can imagine that it's pretty dangerous, okay? Because it's a democracy that can be bought. And if you create a marketplace for it, that means people are gonna sell. But who is willing to pay? So in a DAO, what's happening? You have the custodians. Okay, at the moment, I'm the custodians of this DAO. I'm the one that represent and defend the manifesto towards the DAO and guarantee that the DAO is going to work and so on. So I'm the custodian. Now, in the future, there are going to be more than one custodians. So people can say, I'm going to buy people to vote me for becoming a custodian. So first, you sell your vote for money, okay? And then you can say it's morally right or wrong, but it's the fact, okay? If people can sell their vote. At the same time, you can say, okay, but I'm going to vote for the people that pay me the most. Okay, so there is going to become a sort of a competition of pay you the most. So you can say it's morally really weird. But at the same time, you create a system where everybody can gain from a corrupted, because for me it's corrupted system of buying and selling token. Now, the solution here is much more complicated because we want to create a system that is not incentivizing the selling of votes. Okay, of course. And we do it through a ranking system within the community. So the more skin you have in the game, and the more voting power you're going to have. And more, because of that reason, because you have skin in the game, less you want to give voting power to someone that is not aligned with you. So you wouldn't care about the money unless they give you so much money that would be crazy to buy. I give you $1 million for your vote. Okay, take it. Okay, thank you. But you know what I mean? Become so expensive, it won't make sense. So that is how we can resolve these problems. So accept that unless we can enforce it through a smart contract, then doesn't matter. It's the market is open, and we need to find a system that allow instead to be all aligned to do the right thing because it's convenient for us, not because there is a law written somewhere. Hopefully, I answered the question. Sam.
So I was mentioning this was back to the are you real discussion and looking at like if you are if you haven't done the capture thing, then you know the whole like posting anonymously or knowing that a person is actually the person who's behind the content behind a post on the internet. And I was just going to say if you haven't authenticated, then you're or if you haven't gone through that capture process, you're just considered a bot. Effectively, like the difference of the fact that you haven't authenticated just means that you're an anonymous post. There is no verification to say that you are or are not a bot, and so therefore it's just expected that you are a bot. That's where I think that's going to go in the future. So everyone who has authenticated with the capture, with whatever system that they're going to have in the future, they're humans or referenced as humans. With they can actually. They should be able to reference as bots as well, because bots should be legitimate in that respect. But you'll know one or the other by the capture, and if you haven't, then you simply won't know, and then you expect, yep, okay, I don't know, can't trust, it's a bot. I expected this, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. People will build a trusting system, and they will decide how to do it. For us, because we have tokens and there are costs for, sometimes running a smart contract, there is already a disincentive of doing, for example, a DDoS attack. Because a DDoS attack on a blockchain means that you need to pay for the transactions. Therefore, there is a cost, a financial cost connected to it. And so if we align, financially, in somehow everything become much easier to, in most cases, to be honest. You can't guarantee total honesty because people are smart and they don't want to be honest sometimes. So they will find a way to do it. But as long as it's a minority, means it's a little cost to the DAO to accept that there is going to be some people managing to go around. But the ranking system that we have inside the DAO, meaning the more you contribute, the more power you have. The contribution cannot be done, cannot be bought, but is done by actions. So the more you contribute, higher is your ranking, higher your voting power, and higher access to some specific functionality within the DAO. For example, we need to find the right numbers. But just to give you an example, you can only vote if you are level 5, and vote on important things only if you are level 10. So everybody that didn't put the effort to lead to become a level 5, they have no voting power. So you can't create 1 million accounts and then vote for it, because you need to level up all those million accounts. It will cost you money, it will take a lot of effort, and to get there you need to contribute. So you will have contributed with 1 million account, then I will say thank you, now vote. But vote at low level, but after you have contributed a lot to the community anyway. You see how you can somehow align the interest. You can try to go around it, yes, but you have contributed. You had to, you have spent some tokens within the community. You have helped other people. You have built something, and so on. So there is a way of alignment to achieve goals through alignment. That's what I wanted to say. So therefore, go go and read this document, because a lot of those things are explained in this document. So just to say, we are 15 minutes away from the end of the call. I don't know if you want to share something else. I see some new people while we were in there. Daniel, and a name that I can't even pronounce, Chadwick. Yes. Please, if you want to turn on maybe your camera, introduce yourself, would be nice to know who's behind the scene.
Sure. I'll say hi. I was the one popping the comments in the chat there. So no, it's just interesting. I've been always into computers, and the AI era is upon us. And at work, people say, "Oh, like let's use AI," and they think of it like the Wizard of Oz, and they don't realize like all the complexity that needs to actually go into operationalizing an AI system. So I came across your videos, Memo, and it's really interesting. And so I'm trying to connect the dots between how do you build the system that's a little more deterministic and trustable, because you definitely don't want a system that just randomly does some things in charge of your wallet or any other thing that actually matters to you. So then it comes back to, why would I build any system that isn't reliable? Because that's just a waste of time. Yeah. So anyways, thank you for the privilege of being here among the group and hearing your thoughts. It's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm gonna check it properly later, but just open this not zero sum games. It's a beautiful website. The graphic is amazing.
He's like a thought experimenter, right? And he was it's basically game theory, and all of those things that you were talking about is really relates to game theory, and how do you cause people to cooperate. I don't exactly know, even I haven't read your manifesto and everything, in detail. I just came across this stuff, but I can share, another thing. I'm a connector. I find all kinds of interesting stuff, and I like to, to share it with, So I came across a video just from CoreWorks Lab, and it's called "Your LLM Doesn't Need Your Keys" and fine tuning Quen 3.5 for $11. And he basically was talking about instead of trying to smash your problem with a bigger and bigger LLM, it's like maybe you just need to think about, what do I actually need to do with this system, and then maybe train and fine tune that system. And in the industry that I work in, that's the way you need to think, right? You cannot just say, well, let's just throw it at a big computer and hope for the best. Like you can't accept that, right? If it's your medical problem or your financial problem or anything that matters in your life, it has to work, right? And let's build systems that work. That's really like what I'm, the trail that I'm trying to follow. So.
Totally, thank you, and feel free to share this video on the Discord.
Sure, I will. He was talking about training it so that it's a voice and a model paired together. So yeah, could be a huge companion to the stuff you're already building.
Thank you, Daniel. One thing, there is the person here, Resonant Jones, is building an amazing AI. I didn't have a chance to test it, but if I think it's being shared on the chat. What I would like to invite him to do is to consider if it's possible to add it as an add-on within ResonantOS, so other people can have an easy life of connecting the dots. So I'm gonna just quickly go through the ResonantOS, and then if Resonant Jones wants to introduce his work, would be great. So first of all, just to understand how it works, we have a sidebar where you have, of course, your it crashed. My version, I understand this thing. My version is pure experimental because I'm testing things on top. Okay, but you have of course, the home. But here, all the add-ons that are available. When you start ResonantOS, you wouldn't see all those add-ons. Okay, you will see just the basics, and you will turn on the add-ons that you want. Yes, there is the list of add-ons and so on. The center part is the workspace area. Okay, so for example, I have the Hermes add-on, and this is the Hermes. What's the name? Hermes dashboard, and I can go through, and they have the chat and so on. So I can load up different kind of things, including the browser, like we saw earlier, the open code. That is, it's not active now, but I also have a paperclip. There is the terminal and so on. Okay, there's a lot of different things. On the right side, we have the main AI. This is I call it Augmentor. Even this one is an add-on. This one can be customized. You can make it whatever you want. But this is, for my perspective, this is the main AI that you use to talk with, to strategize with. And through this one, you can delegate, for example, to Hermes, to any other agent, to do some work with you. But this agent is the one that connects to the living archive. The living archive is a memory system, advanced memory system that works over the LLM wiki, or wiki LLM, or I can't remember the name now. But so a really cool system to manage memory. Also, this living archive, also this memory system is an add-on, okay? So you are not forced to use it. So the idea here is a platform where we can add through add-ons different functionalities, and build. Each one of us can build their own add-ons. So we saw earlier Tom explaining that he's building the the browser add-on. A few more things about this. Of course, you have the history, and you can pop up the chat, close it, open back here, and change the models here. Go here and look. This is the context window. Okay, at the moment it's empty because it's a new chat. But you can go through the context window and then decide yourself where to compact it. Now it's empty, so there's no way of editing, but you can edit what is saved within the compaction. So if you are, sometimes the AI compaction is when it does the summary. Okay, the context window get full, and at one point it's gonna say, okay, it's too big, I'm gonna compact and summarize what is inside the raw data here and push it back as a summary. And therefore you have, again, a lot of space to go through. Now you can edit and change what is inside the compaction, so you get sure that it's gonna save the data that you want. The chat, let me open like an history one. So the chat window looks like this, and you have, of course, the forking, editing, deleting, copy, and so on. And let me see. Yes, and that is even like I was saying, this is also an add-on. You can change it if you don't want it. If you want to use something different, you can swap the position of those. And if the system completely go nuts and breaks, you can click on here. You go in the recovery system, so you talk with the Resonant engineer agent. This run on a local model, and this is the Gemma 42 billion parameter that is run on any machine. And what you can do with this one, help use this engine agent to bring back a better model So then you can start fixing the system if something goes wrong. So this engineer agent is fully aware about the architecture, all the add-ons that you have and so on. So it can really help you out fixing the system. So this is ResonantOS for those that didn't know it. So you're welcome to help us building this and also adding elements as an add-on. So my invitation now is for all of you to build something on here. So Resonant Jones, if you want to share if you're still, yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll have to.
I call you Resonant Jones. I know that is not your name, but
No, my name is Chris.
Okay. I didn't know because earlier you were talking about anonymity.
No, yeah, you're
I didn't
good.
want to say your name. No, did you freeze? I can't believe it.
I'm still here.
Chris is frozen. He was about to present his work, and maybe he didn't freeze.
Yeah, I was very curious.
Yeah, he crashed probably. He opened the. You're back. You're muted, Chris.
Okay. So I have this interface I've been working on. I've been focusing mostly on continuity and like just trying to have a really easy to use interface. And then also I wanted to make the assistant, like when I go to talk to my assistant, have all of the things that it wants to do inside of it already. I'm still working on some stuff. I was just adding some features today. But I have a gallery and there's a place for you to put documents. This is the knowledge base for your conversations. So as you have your chats and stuff, if you go over to documents, this should also be the same and everything you import will be there. There's a workspace with a scratch pad so you can, type stuff. If you're in chat and you're typing, you can move it over to Composer and send it or copy it to your clipboard. This never goes away unless you clear it. And then this is like where all of your documents and images, if you attach a file. We all know how it is when we're like building stuff. Yeah, this is something I'm still working on. But when you attach files,
that's good.
Yeah, it's weird. All right. Well, yeah, it's in the process, but you guys could download it. I have it on a website. It's predictify.space. And I'm pushing out like updates every week. I have like a new update coming out, and you guys could just like do Docker pull and just see what changes have happened. It's all good.
Very nice. Is it just Docker?
Yeah, I mean, I have it's Docker. I have just a what is it called? I don't know. It's just Docker. I don't have like another way to run it. I mean, I guess you could just run it on your computer if you're running like Linux, but it's a bunch of microservices. So you have to use a compose file, like a YAML, to launch it in the right order. Yeah. But I'm running on Mac, so I just use Docker to make it easy.
What's the system specs? I'm just curious. What's the system requirements for the Docker? Is like a 1 GB or
So far, it says like 4 to 5 gigabytes to run. It's Redis. I have Chroma. I have Neo4j, Postgres. The way that it's set up is like a platform, where you could do many requests, or you could have multiple users. I haven't finished out the multi-user authentication, but it's essentially like a full platform, like a full something you would host on the internet, and so multiple people could sign in. I didn't intend to go for that right away. I just wanted something that was like really robust and that I could use for a really long time. My goal with my project is to make something that's like a companion that like eventually I want to build glasses or like devices that I could attach to my own private system and have intelligence wherever I go. And it's just always like, not always recording, but just always accessible. And it doesn't have to be median. All right, right on. I mean, it's just the way it is. Like everything.
I was just wondering about the requirements, because I was wondering like you could run it on a Pi or something,
No, not yet. I want to get down there. I'm exploring using something called Surreal
Wondering
DB.
about the 8 GB model.
You talking about like a language model?
No, just a Docker image. I'm wondering because you said about 4 GB, so I know there are Pis that are like 8 GB plus. So
okay.
Curious,
I don't know. I was thinking like just a
I
board.
would probably stick it on a VM and give it a spin. I'll probably try it.
Yeah, and you could use local like Llama, and you could also use like OpenAI or Grok, not XAI Grok, but Grok.com, Minimax, Alibaba, Anthropic, Gemini. In the .env, you'll see like all those API endpoints. So it's extensive. I don't talk a lot like online. I guess I should just release some documentation. You guys can like look through that, and it's very extensive.
Thank you, Chris. Great job. And
Yeah,
and again, consider to build an add-on so we can open within ResonantOS and then can collaborate with the DAO in the sense access to the wallet and so on and become part of it.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Of course.
And I want to say that Chris has been with this community for, I think, 9 months, if not more. So he's one of those OG. So
thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It's been fun being part of this with you guys and watching it grow. And it's cool how many people there are now. It's a lot.
Yes, it's incredible. So, sorry again, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Chadwick, maybe. He wants to introduce yourself, so feel free to, if you're still here. Yes.
Yeah, Chadwick is right. It's just a misspelling with a J instead of an H. So I've just kept it. But yeah, no, I'm really new here. Mostly just I caught one of your videos on using the ASUS box and running local AI, and so don't have a whole lot of people in my normal groups. I can talk more advanced AI concepts, so it's been very hard to find people to talk to. I've got a couple open source libraries. I just pasted it in the general channel, but I've got a multi-agent orchestration library specifically tuned for VS Code Copilot, and a CLI tool that you can copy and share assets. Could be parts of a Git repo, parts of a plugin, anything that goes in GitHub. You can share and manage them, so at a lot more granular level than say a plugin or something like that. Yeah, I mean that's so I'm just learning about your Resonant DAO and some of this other stuff. So I had no clue really before joining this call. So look forward to learning more about that.
thanks for introducing yourself and welcome to the community. I want to, we're about to close this call, but I want to let you know that tomorrow there is another call. Okay, same time, same link. And today was about more the technology. Okay, so AI, ResonantOS, local AI, and so on. Tomorrow is more about the I never know how to explain this part, but it's more about the philosophy, the human AI interaction, all the elements that are more human. And today is more about the technology aspect of it. So again, it can be about the manifesto, can be about the DAO tomorrow, and so on. So all of you are welcome to join. And again, thanks a lot for your support, and building this together it's amazing.
May I ask one quick question?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's regarding the living archive. I'm actually really interested in that. Is there going to be any interaction between that and the blockchain and the the DAO?
I haven't thought about an interaction, but in theory, it's possible. In the sense, the first thing that comes to my mind, you could hash the kind of take a screenshot of the data and put it on the blockchain. In the sense, there is a proof of that something happened.
I was thinking something along that lines myself, because I was thinking if that is like a feature, I think it will give a lot of people a very good reason to use the DAO.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. I mean, with the blockchain, it's possible to do so many things. Think about the fact that already those NFTs. Okay, so your membership is an NFT. Okay, but some NFT can be transferable. Okay, but that one cannot be transferred. So it's a proof of your identity of your membership, and only because you have the membership, then you can vote, you can be part of, you can be part of the DAO. So there is all those processes that unlock abilities and functionalities within the DAO. So, which is amazing, the fact that, for example, the DAO itself is going to have a smart contract that can be recognized, that are being designed by the DAO, that require the membership to run. And therefore, you see, you already create a system that is secure by design, because you know that is original smart contract, and the smart contract know that is an original human behind it, the system. Okay, a member of the DAO. But yeah, it's possible to do it. We need to think more and design more. And
I think that would be such a good thing, because then you could prove that this identity is connected to these ideas and these memories.
Exactly. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, that was part of that blockchain thing I was thinking about back in October, using things like Ocean Protocol and Obsidian.
Mumir.
Sorry.
We're on the same page.
We can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. Just one thing popped up. This is, I think, great idea to actually prove through your experience that you are human, because this is what is unique. Of the future, which will be advanced, will have a hard time to imitate. And this reminded me to one interesting project, Intelligent Internet, I think it's called. They have idea to also put a DAO around, they call it proof of meaningful compute. But what is just to tell it short, what is the idea? Corporations will take over those interesting sectors, but those sectors which governments cover, can you hear me? Yeah. Which governments cover will be not so interesting. And this is what we as people should take care of. And then if we contribute to common knowledge inside of the critical areas of the knowledge we as society want to keep, because as I was listening to Tom before, it's kind of scary because they might close us inside of some part of the knowledge that is there on the internet. And maybe if we start to create our library for our agents on top of which we could operate together, and then we can have a common living archive, which we contribute to, and then the whole game and the whole story we've been talking about before, it's kind of
We lost you. But
I completely agree.
augment
makes
and build
sense.
the appropriately rebuild our Alexandria
Library thingy.
library, yeah. So, and this is what maybe people would be very interested to come, because we are kind of still the people who have the memories, at least ourselves, what's going on and what the world actually is.
Yeah,
And we are
and
kind of
the
prepared
other
for
thing
the
I was
moment when they start to close, you know.
I was thinking the same
Sorry,
thing because what
I'm from the dark, like.
sorry, it's yeah.
There's a lag. Yeah.
I was just thinking because
Yeah.
because of the way the blockchain is, it's going to be very hard. There's going to be a record. So there's a lot of things like going on at the moment where they're trying to change. I wouldn't say like history, but they are trying to change like facts and things. But with this type of technology, because of the way the blockchain works, there'll be a record, just kind of like stop that type of thing. If you follow me.
Yeah, totally. And can also be proof of creation. For example, there is sometimes there is a video. Is there a human behind? Is he the real Manolo on that video, or is it a fake one? Okay, but with the blockchain, I can sign my video and say, okay, this is me. Okay, there is a proof of it. Now I'm making this example about the video, but you understand the concept, right? Momir, there is a message for you in the chat if you haven't seen it. Anyway, I really appreciate, and we can carry on tomorrow at the same time, same link. And again, thanks a lot, everybody, to join. It's a privilege to spend time with you.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that last topic is really important, and that's something we should definitely dig down deep into on that one.
Yeah, and so tomorrow definitely is the day for this kind of topic.
Yeah.
So, Michael, if you want to present this topic tomorrow, if you feel like you want to, take charge on the air, you can present, explain your point, and so on, and then we can start from there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll definitely be here tomorrow.
Michael, what's your handle on the Discord?
Oh, on Discord, I don't even know. I have two of them. It might be Reardon or HWork. Michael Brule with HWork in it.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. I'll reach out to you so you can see it. I just hit, I think, Dr. whatever your name is. I think it's Tom.
I'm the other one, the other guy with the beard. I'm Chimo.
Chimo, nice to meet you.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. And see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Very constructive.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Thanks all.
N1H, I just added you as a friend on Discord. I want to chat to you about setting that meeting
recording.
Okay, I'll add you.
Cheers.